The breakdown: 5 thoughts after Ravens win over Bengals. The Ravens scored a 19-17 win over the Cincinnati Bengals on Sunday Night Football at Bank Stadium in Week 5. Here are 5 thoughts on Sunday's game. The Ravens needed this win after what they've endured. A team can only take so many tests. Following 2 straight home losses featuring fourth quarter collapses, the Ravens needed to close out a win at home. They didn't need it for the standings. Yes, Sunday night's victory moved them into sole possession of the AFC North, but it's just Week 5. Nobody is winning the division in October and nobody lost it either. The Ravens' playoff chances wouldn't have been sunk had they dropped this one. But Baltimore needed this one for morale. Every loss stings, but losing 17 and 10-point leads at home requires extra strength ointment. The Ravens' frustration was clearly evident last week in Marcus Peters. Baltimore hadn't been good on either side of the ball in the fourth quarter. This time, clinging to a 3-point lead entering the fourth, everyone did their part. The defense got a huge stop on the goal line on the Bengals' next to last drive. The offense grinded out 2 long field goal drives. Justin Tucker booted the 43-yarder to finish it off. Faith in Justin Tucker is never misplaced. After the game, Calais Campbell admitted that even as Tucker trotted onto the field for the 43-yard game winner, he felt nervous. By this point, with Tucker hitting 61 straight field goal attempts in the fourth quarter or overtime, and with now 19 game winners under his belt, it's practically automatic, as they say. Even head coach John Harbaugh, who has witnessed every single one of Tucker's 334 career field goals, plus postseason, go through the uprights, said it was a hard one to decide to send Tucker out for a 58-yard field goal in the third quarter while facing a 4th and 4 from the Bengals' 40-yard line. That's absolutely in that cloudy go-for-it range. But in the end, the scale tipped towards Justin, Harbaugh said. Tucker drilled it, then his lineman bowed down before him. The scales tipped that way again when, with the Ravens leading by 3 points, Harbaugh decided to send Tucker out for the chip shot 25-yard field goal instead of go for it on 4th and 1 from the Cincinnati 3-yard line. Harbaugh knew that even if the Bengals scored a touchdown on their next drive, which they did, his offense would have enough time to put Tucker in position for the game winner. Sure enough, Tucker made the decision pay off. I don't know what the analytics suggested in any of those scenarios, but the chances are always good when you bet on Tucker. Lamar Jackson showed one of his best traits on a tough night. Jackson didn't have his strongest night, as 3 overthrows proved especially costly and kept this game closer than it should have been. His second quarter interception short-circuited the Ravens' early momentum when they built a 10-0 lead and were driving for more. Then came 2 overthrows on should-have-been touchdowns on the Ravens' first drive of the second half, the first on a bomb intended for Devin Duvernay and the second on 4th and 1 when Tylan Wallace popped wide open. Jackson said he'll be mad at the film after a game like this, in which he finished 19 of 32 for 174 yards with 1 touchdown, 1 interception and 58 yards rushing. But even when Jackson isn't having his best night, he's still a winner. Jackson doesn't have a 40-14 record by mistake. It's because, with the game on the line, he can simply be the best player on the field. On the Ravens' game-winning drive, Jackson connected on back-to-back passes to Mark Andrews for 15 yards, then ran 3 times for 26 yards, including a weaving 19-yarder through the Bengals' defense. Jackson gave credit to a hungry offensive line, which dug in and paved holes when they were needed most, but this was also a case of Jackson's pure hunger to win setting the table. Just as Baltimore's secondary is coming together, it takes another hit. The Bengals did a whole lot of talking after roughing up the Ravens' injury-decimated defense last year. Funny how it was a different story when Baltimore wasn't missing half of its starters. Still, there was good reason to believe this might be a high-scoring affair considering the firepower the Bengals have on offense and the fact that Baltimore's defense entered the game ranked last in the league. Extra points. 1. The Bengals picked up 11 yards on the first play from scrimmage. They had 5 total yards on their next 3 drives, as the Ravens' defense notched 2 sacks and 3 straight 3-and-outs. Peters brought the flashy gold cleats and his energy was off the chain, helping the defense get off on the right foot. His huge tackle for loss on the Bengals' trick play also set the tone. Peters was clearly talking his talk with Chase, and the Ravens veteran had every right to.